Want healthier spring soil without leaning so hard on bagged fertilizer? Welcome to RootInsect.com.
And if your garden beds look a little tired coming out of winter, this is one of the simplest ways to wake them back up.
We're talking green manure today, which, I'll admit, is not the most glamorous name in gardening.
No, it sounds like something went wrong in the wheelbarrow. But it's one of the smartest things you can do for soil health. You grow a crop mainly to feed the soil, then cut it down and work it in before it sets seed.
So instead of growing food for yourself, you're growing food for the ground.
Exactly. And in spring, that matters because the soil's coming out of winter sluggish, compacted in some spots, stripped of easy nutrients in others. Green manure adds organic matter, helps with moisture retention, improves aeration, and gives soil microbes something to feast on.
I think that microbial side gets overlooked. People talk about NPK all day, but if the biology in the soil is flat, the whole system struggles.
Right. When those cover crops break down, they feed the underground life. More microbial activity means nutrients get cycled better and become more available to the crops you plant next. It's a very old school, very sensible system.
And there's also weed control, which I appreciate because weeds in early spring have the energy of toddlers who found a drum kit.
That is painfully accurate. A dense cover crop can shade the soil and stop a lot of those weeds from getting established. Plus, it helps reduce erosion if you've got spring rains washing bare soil around.
Let's talk plants then. If someone wants a practical starting point, clover seems hard to ignore.
Clover's a classic for a reason. Red and white clover both fix nitrogen, so they're especially useful if you've got hungry summer crops coming. Red clover tends to put on more vigorous growth, so if your goal is biomass and fertility, that's often the one people lean toward.
I like clover, but I've had field peas win me over in cooler weather.
I knew you were going to say field peas.
Because I'm right.
I didn't say you were wrong. Field peas are brilliant in cooler spring conditions. They establish fast, fix nitrogen efficiently, and their root systems help loosen and improve structure. If someone's got compacted soil after winter, that root action is useful.
Also, they're easy to manage. I'm lazy in a very strategic way.
You call it strategic. I call it suspiciously convenient.
Fair.
Vetch is another strong option, especially if you want a lot of plant material to turn back into the soil. It's vigorous, good at nitrogen fixation, and often works well mixed with other cover crops.
Vetch is one of those plants that really commits. It doesn't do anything halfway.
True, and that's why timing matters. With any of these, you want to chop and incorporate before they set seed. If you wait too long, your helpful cover crop becomes next season's volunteer problem.
Learned that one the annoying way with buckwheat.
There it is, your annual confession.
I let it go a bit too long because the flowers looked nice.
They do look nice. And buckwheat earns its keep. It grows fast, which makes it perfect for short spring windows. It's excellent at suppressing weeds, and the flowers bring in pollinators, so it's doing a couple of jobs at once.
That's what I like about it. Even when it's working for the soil, it still makes the place feel alive.
Then there's mustard, which is a really interesting one. It grows quickly in early season and has what people call biofumigation properties. In plain language, it can help reduce certain soil-borne pests and diseases.
So it's not just feeding the soil, it's also helping tidy up some problems underground.
That's the idea. Especially useful if you're trying to reset a bed that's had recurring issues. Not magic, but genuinely useful.
So if someone's listening and wondering where to begin, I'd say first figure out the goal. Need nitrogen? Think clover, peas, vetch. Need quick weed suppression? Buckwheat. Want some pest management benefits? Mustard.
And match it to your conditions. Cooler spring? Field peas can shine. Short gap before planting? Buckwheat's fast. Heavy clay or very sandy soil? Almost all of these help once they're incorporated, because added organic matter improves both water holding and air movement.
It's one of those rare gardening habits that pays off in several directions at once.
Yes, and it's cheaper than trying to rescue exhausted soil later. Give the ground a crop of its own, cut it down at the right time, and your main planting season starts with a real advantage. Thank you for listening to this edition of RootInsect.com. Conversations with Grant and Fiona.